Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. I'm not going to take much of your time as you're going to watch 1 hour long video. The video that you're going to watch is recorded video of a webinar that we had in collaboration with NailIB. We had 2 webinars. One about both were about the assessments. One for only dedicated to the exhibition, and one for the essay. I hope you enjoy and learn a lot. But before we go there, I want to introduce you 2 books. One, TOK for Dummies, which means all the concepts of TOK, everything about TOK explained in simple language through a lot of real-life examples and events and everything. So you may want to consider buying it if you want to know finally what TOK is about, because the motto of this book is that this book makes TOK make sense. And this one that you may be familiar with is just for assessments with a lot of step-by-step instructions and approaches and sample text from previous assessed essays and exhibitions, and a lot of cool stuff in it that helps you just get an A, hopefully, in TOK assessment. So these 2 books for you. You can find the links to the books down below. You can find the links to the video course that I have on NailIB down below, and a lot of other cool stuff in the description. Nothing else, and thank you for watching. Let's continue to the webinar. It's quite long, 1 hour. Bring your coffee and tea and whatever you want to drink. Thank you. Hello, how are you doing today? Everybody here. It's nice to be back because we had the live session, the webinar for TOK exhibition. Now we're going to talk about the essay. It was great. The previous one was great, and I'm sure this one will be also amazing, useful for you, and you will love it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bahadur Shirazian. I'm an IB educator. I teach TOK, and it's been a long time that I'm teaching. Also, I teach other subjects, but it's irrelevant now. We are talking about TOK only today. This session, this live, is brought to you by NailIB.com, the one and only. Yeah. Amazing, cool people in NailIB, from the founder and the entire team. I know them. Unfortunately, I didn't have the chance and opportunity to meet every single person from the team, but as far as I met them, I talked to them, they're really amazing people, so young and professional. That's what I love about NailIB. And the resources is just so vast. So yeah, you may know me from NailIB video course, or maybe now you are going to think that, okay, do you have a video course? Yes, we do. We do have a TOK video course on NailIB.com that we just explained. I just explained every single bit of this madness that is driving you crazy. You think that TOK is just crazy, complex, nonsense. Or, yeah, I know. Okay, I can understand, because it's never been taught or presented to you in a simple and understandable way. But that's what we're doing on NailIB. At the same time, some of you may know me from the Instagram community that we have there, TOK Discussions, or the website, or the book that I'm going to read some samples from. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. People are joining. I need to tell you, sadly, like the previous one, there won't be any time for Q&A. I will try to, here and there, while discussing different points and hints and tips and tricks, if there is a question, I answer. So please, don't worry, don't be shy, and write questions, and I will try to answer them as much as possible, but there won't be a dedicated Q&A session. So let's start. TOK essay. It's an essay with a little bit of difference. So TOK essay is a part of assessment, something that you need to, some kind of exam. Tell me like this because IB don't like the word exam. So you are being assessed in the TOK. Two ways: internal assessment, external, like many other subjects, and TOK is a core of IBDP, but it's one of the core, but at the same time subject. We can treat it as a subject. So assessment, internal assessment is exhibition. We talked about it. Or if you haven't been present during the live, the recording you can find. I'm sure there's a link somewhere here that you can watch the recording. So the TOK essay is an external assessment. What does it mean? It means that you write the essay, your TOK teacher helps you to improve it, guides you, but he or she is not the person who marks it. In the end, the essays will be uploaded to IB website, platform, and some other people when the names and student numbers and everything, school and everything is removed. It will be distributed among examiners. They read the essay and they mark. So it is externally assessed. It has 2/3 or 67%, they round it up, 67% of your total mark. What does it mean? And by the way, like the exhibition, the essay is marked out of 10. So what does it mean? It means that when, let's say you get 7, 8, hopefully, you get an 8 from your essay. And you get a 7, for some reason, from your exhibition. So it means that that 7 remains 7 because it has just the factor of 1. But essay will be multiplied by 2. So 8 becomes 16, 7 remains 7, 23. 23 out of 30, the total mark for your TOK. You need to write an essay on prescribed titles. What are prescribed titles? For other, for example, for extended essay or for any other essays that students of any kind write, most of the time, student and the advisor, the teacher, the professor, they come up with the title. So you create your own title somehow. You choose the topic that you want to talk about and you create the title. For the TOK essay, it's not like that. Every 6 months, roughly, IB publishes 6 prescribed titles, which means there is a title for your essay already. This title can be a statement, it can be a question, it can be a quote, and it used to be that almost every single title, you have to explore the title in 2 different areas of knowledge. And we have 5 different areas of knowledge. History, the arts, mathematics, human sciences, and natural sciences. These 5. So you need to choose 2 of them and explore the title. From 2 years ago, yes, if I'm not mistaken, from 2 years ago, IB started to give the areas of knowledge, not for every single title, but for some of them. Like, for example, this title, please explore it within art and some other areas. Sometimes art and humanity, human sciences, for example, or natural sciences and human sciences. But sometimes it's like, and one prescribed title, I remember that there was no need to be explored in any areas of knowledge. They never mentioned that write within 2 areas of knowledge. No, just write an essay based on this title. So, but most probably you need to be prepared that the 6 titles for you, I assume you're, now at the time of recording, it's 2023, and the students who are watching this firsthand should be November cohort or November 23 or May 24, or maybe you started early, good for you, November 24. So be ready for 6 prescribed titles and 2 areas of knowledge for each. How can you write? That's all this webinar about. And 1600 or 1600 words are the word limit. Do not pass that limit, because the examiner stops reading after that, and maybe just one sentence at the end of your conclusion, but without that the entire essay doesn't make that sense, and then you will lose marks. So fully aware of other points of view. That's the whole point of the TOK and the TOK essay. You are not supposed to express your own opinions and prove something. It's not like chemistry. It's not like business, that you write that I know this thing, I discovered this thing. No. TOK, short for theory of knowledge, is all about acknowledging other points of view. So you know what other people think, and you understand that. Whether you agree or not, that's not the case now. That's the base of open-mindedness and international mindedness, and to be a free thinker. Because free thinkers, some people make a mistake and think that free thinker is a person who doesn't care about others' points of view, but no. A free thinker listens to every person's point of view, but not necessarily get influenced or followed. Then the person chooses or goes a new way. And a very important thing for you to remember. Of course, I'm not going to talk about how to reference in text or at the end. That's not my job. That's the job of whoever teaches you. Most probably this is done alongside researcher skills by your librarian. Usually it's like that. Or any other teacher that teaches you research skills and tell you about different styles of referencing and in text, and at the end and everything. It's important, you have to do it. However, please keep in mind, Wikipedia is not a reference. You cannot bring anything from Wikipedia and say Wikipedia says something. No. Wikipedia has references. You can go and find that reference, and if that is good, reliable, then you can bring it. Also, please do not refer to any IB or any TOK site. There are many websites that give you a lot of good, amazing information about any subject, IB subject, IB TP subject specifically. But you cannot use them as reference. They are not reference. These two, keep in mind. Okay? And, I was a little bit distracted talking to you. I didn't check the chat and number. It's like, oh, people double. That's great. Hello everyone. I'm sometimes checking my laptop and I talk to you through laptop. I forget that. Okay, you're watching me from here. Okay. So prescribed titles, that a little bit explain more. September 1, usually. May titles, May session titles will be published, and March 1, November session titles will be published. Of course, for May students, September of the previous year. There are 6 prescribed titles on 2 areas of knowledge, I told you, and I want to tell you how to choose the best title for you. Maybe in some schools, I've been there, I've heard that the teacher just assign. I would never do that, and I've never done that, because it's your essay after, and I shouldn't assign anything. You need to choose. I can just help you choose. However, if your teacher assigns, then you have no other choices and write about that title. But if it goes the way it should go and you can choose, then I suggest this 3-step method. Okay? Let me read from the book. The 3-step method of choosing the titles. First of all, read all the titles and see if there is any keyword that attracts you or maybe sounds familiar. Like, for example, trust, progress, label, statistic, something like that. Bias. So when you read the titles, prescribed titles, maybe there is a quote from your favorite person, your favorite poet, artist, scientist. Oh, that's good. It attracts your attention. Or you find a word like change, progress, or happiness or sadness. There is a word that again attracts you because that's what you're thinking about these days. So this attraction makes the title attractive. Then sort the titles based on quote unquote attractiveness. So the most attractive one at the top, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So resort it. Okay? Then you need to do something. You need to break down the titles. It may be hard for you. Usually teachers break down the titles, and there are, I don't know how many websites and YouTube channels and Instagram accounts, maybe TikTok, I'm not sure, that they do this. Whenever titles are published, they break down the title and all the titles, and they explain. So read the explanations and read the breakdown form. So let me give you an example. For example, it was a title from old days. Labels are a necessity in the organization of knowledge, but they also constrain our understanding. What does it mean? It means labels are necessary. Labels help categorizing knowledge. Labels limit understanding. So one statement turned into 3 short sentences. Do that for each title based on your understanding. Then leave your notes. Just go do something else. Come back after a couple of days, because now you need to have a fresh look. If it makes sense the way that it made sense, like last week. So after that, move 3 more sensible titles to the top of the list. Then try to explain them to a person with no TOK knowledge, like your grandma, a 10-year-old cousin, or your friends probably are IB students. So try to explain find someone and ask them nicely to give, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of their time to you, and try to explain in the way that some non-TOK person understands. What does it mean? So try to explain, and after explanation, then it changes the way you feel about the title. You're like, oh, I really cannot explain this title. It means that I don't understand it well. So maybe you want to change your top 3, like the top of the 3, which means that the top may go down to 2, and a little bit changes. After that, find 2 relevant areas of knowledge, if it's not already given to you, for each title, and write them next to the top 3. So top number 1, this title, write history, human sciences, for example. 2, title, art and mathematics. Now take a step back and see if your eye catches your favorite areas of knowledge. So first you need to choose these 2 titles, these 2 areas of knowledge, that are relevant to the title, whether you like area of knowledge or not. And then when you come back, you're like, oh, my favorite ones, it's title 2. That's your title. Of course, you can choose your title in any different methods. You can just write the titles on paper, put them in a ball, and just take one out. I don't know. But this method works for many, many people. You may want to try. Then after that, we will move to knowledge questions. What is a knowledge question? Knowledge question is an open-ended question which should be explored, not to be answered. It's not yes, no. For example, what is my name? It has one answer. And it's not a knowledge question, it's just a straight question. How do you know my name? That could be a very simple knowledge question, because you need to have a reason and you explore your reasons and evidence. Another better examples. How do we measure temperature? That's not a knowledge question. Although it's about knowledge, it seems scientific, but that's not a knowledge question. How do we know the way that we measure temperature is accurate? That's a knowledge question that you need to explore different methods and find out, okay, the way that we approach is right or not. This is a knowledge question. You need a lot of practice on this. I mean, I cannot simplify and compress everything in this session. How to form knowledge questions for the essay. First of all, you need to write something around 10 direct questions. So your title is about, as I said, like labels. You need to write, just try to come up with different questions, brainstorm with your friend. 10 direct questions, just simple direct questions. What are labels? What do labels do? Do I like labels? Are labels useful? Just 10, but good ones. And then divide or categorize these 2 into 2 categories, pro the title and against the title. What does it mean? It means that the title claims something, that labels are good, but at the same time they limit. So they limit. This limitation is the claim of the title. Which of your questions ask about limitation? Put them in the pro, and which of the questions ask about the freedom, opposite of limitation, against. So 2 categories. Then you need to use the elements of knowledge question. Elements of knowledge questions are: how do we know? To what extent? These are elements. There are many examples and elaborate way of finding and making and developing knowledge questions in the book. You can also find on NailIB resources. You can also definitely, when you watch the videos in the course, I have one full session telling you how to create and develop actually knowledge questions. So these many options, you can make it. Then the fourth topic that we are going to talk about is how to structure the essay. That's also very important. The first question that you need to answer in order to base your structure of the essay on is: how many knowledge questions and how many real-life examples? So the simplest way that you cannot escape from is at least having 2 real-life examples, 1 for each area of knowledge. Less than that is not acceptable, is not possible. That's the least that you can do. But if you're aiming high for 10 out of 10, then you may want to have 2 real-life examples for each area of knowledge, which makes it up to a total of 4. A total of 4 real-life examples. And for each area of knowledge, you need at least 1 knowledge question. The thing is, you need knowledge questions, but you don't have to write them in your essay. Just have them in the notes and explore them. You can write, but if you don't want to write, or if it consumes a little bit of your words, then okay, don't write. It's not obligatory, it's not mandatory. You don't have to write the knowledge questions inside your essay. Just have them as guidance. It's a guiding question. Then you need to check, because some students are native English speakers or French or Spanish. Some are studying IB in their second language or third language. So you may want to consider your argumentation and argumentative skills, also language skills. What are your skill level? You know, you can write in like Shakespeare level, which is not necessary, and don't do it, but you can really write academic level, and you can really easily develop and forward your arguments. Okay, then you can structure your essay differently. However, on the other hand, maybe you don't trust your language skills, you don't trust your argumentative skills. So based on this, if you feel confident about argumentation and language skills, you can allocate more words to the body 1, body 2 of your essay, which is practically area of knowledge 1 and area of knowledge 2. Because your essay, like any essay, has 4 parts: introduction, body 1, body 2, conclusion. So if you feel confident and you can just elaborate, body 1, body 2, more words. 1100, 1200, You can allocate. If you feel a little bit less confident about that, so it's better that you find really, really unique and amazing real-life examples, which is hard. I'm not going to lie to you, it's hard. And then just allocate more to the introduction, because introduction doesn't need to be that much complex, doesn't need to be that much of a high level or high register. And then less words for your body 1, body 2. Let me give you some examples. Okay. Here, one student had chosen the title, Are Disputes over Knowledge Claims Within a Discipline Always Resolvable? So the student allocated it almost 400 words to introduction and conclusion altogether, and 4 real-life examples, 2 for claim, 2 for counterclaim. And because the examples, the real-life examples, were really, really, researched and amazing, I cannot say anything better about these examples, the student received 10 out of 10. I will read a little bit for you to understand. The writing is not that much high-level academic. The rigorous nature of the scientific method ensures that data collected from experimentation can validate, refute, and discovery of additional empirical data from something. In physics, the view didn't adhere to the new evidence and was rejected. In psychology, the empirical evidence didn't cohere to either view and hence the conflicting claims. Then they continue after, though personal biases or emotion may come into play, experimental findings render a theory useless by removing its explanatory power, which is justified through belief. So, here you have it. It's good text, but it's not that much using, words that you don't understand. Everyone needs to open dictionary or something. And 400 words in total to introduction and conclusion, and 1200 for this part, but amazing, really good examples. Another student, they get 8 out of 10, chosen the title, The Importance of Establishing Incontrovertible Facts is Overestimated. Most knowledge deals in ambiguity. For starters, it's a complex title, but the student allocated around 450 words collectively to the introduction and conclusion part. I'm going to read. In the natural sciences, analytical facts in the form of definitions. For example, scientists are divided over whether to classify or blah blah, which affects whether they focus on biomedical or psychological research to find treatments. This is how the student wrote. It's very simple, it's very understandable, and 8 out of 10. Another one, last. This student got 6 out of 10. Why? I will tell you. So the title was Disinterestedness is Essential in the Pursuit of Knowledge. The introduction part blends into body, first of all. You cannot see the lines that, okay, introduction ended, now body starts. It's somehow after 230 words. The last paragraph, assumably the conclusion part, is made of 165 words. So the remaining, it's a very interesting number also, 1,111, just 1111 words to the argument in the body. This is the way that the student writes. I need to explore how disinterestedness can contribute in the pursuit of knowledge before I can conclude whether disinterestedness is essential or not. The distinguishing attribute, and they continue, which means that other people that repeat the experiment need to confirm the results from the first experiment. It's just confusing. So the student was awarded a mark of 6 out of 10 and considered it satisfactory level. The examiner commented that the essay starts well, however, lacks analysis as it progresses. So it's just talking here and there. These were examples of how to structure and how to write, or let's say mostly structure. Let's go to real life examples. I'm going fast, I'm not taking any breaks, and I'm not letting you ask questions or something. I'm sorry, time is short. Real life examples. Real life applications of the theory of knowledge. The course is called the theory of knowledge. However, IB developed this course based on, of course, theory of knowledge. But in order to give theory of knowledge practical meaning, so it's in practice. That's why you need to find real life examples, real life applications. One personal real life example you need. You don't need, but it's better to have it. For your introduction. You know, when you want to introduce the title, bring one example from your personal life. You can find it. That the reader, examiner in this case, understands that, oh, you've totally got it. You know, you understood it perfectly because you can relate. Examples. I'm looking for page 29. Okay, I found it. The first real life example that you need is for the introduction part, a very simple personal experience. Let's say you have chosen the title. Areas of knowledge are most useful in combination with each other. And you intend to define the keywords and briefly explain and everything. Just remember that, for example, in your basketball team, you had the knowledge of defense and your teammate had the knowledge of scoring. Combination of knowledge. Or you could do your friend's makeup and she could pick some good outfit for birthday party. Combination of knowledge. You might want to be more relevant to the title and more sophisticated by telling the story of how you and your teammates contributed to each other's works in developing a project for RoboCop Junior, for example. Different knowledge of mechanics, knowledge of electronics, knowledge of design, and you could pull that off. Any little experience that you have had throughout your life can be used as a good explanatory real life introduction in general. And the real life example that you bring from your personal experience shows that you had a good grasp of the title, and this attracts the attention of the reader in this case, which is some kind of like the writer's hook. You hook the reader. So then you need 2 or 4. I explained. You need 2 real-life examples minimum. Better to have four real-life examples. But how you choose these 2 or 4? First, you need to decide, because you need to have opposing, contrasting points of view to express that, okay, I am aware, fully aware, hey IB, I am fully aware of different and a variety of points of view. How? One real-life example is pro the title, one real-life example is against the title. Title says areas of knowledge are good together. That's the claim. So one example shows that, yeah, they work better together. One example shows that, no, they're not good together. They need to be, sometimes we need like very specific expertise in different fields, and no combination. So if you want to go one more mile, you can choose 2. In each area of knowledge, you have one that proves the title, one that goes against the title. I hope you understood it. It was clear enough. So 2 or 4, then based on that. Let me give you some examples. Hopefully it works. First of all, research skills are really, really important for this thing. You need to improve your research skills. There was a title, Statistics Conceal as Much as They Reveal. And one real-life example in the natural sciences. Of course, everyone knows, when you Google something, the results are not global and the results are based on your previous searches and everything. So you are inside a bubble. But still you can find good examples following the same kind of method. The method that I used for this to find this example was that I Googled number of, in quotation, healthy, in quotation. That's it, number of and healthy. Because I wanted to find some news reports or some papers talking about number of healthy people. And when you ask for number of healthy people, there are some statistics. And then from that statistic, I wanted to analyze what are the things that statistics show and what are the things that they hide, conceal and reveal. I came across this study. Number of healthy years of life, countries compared. So, number of healthy years of life based on different countries. It gives us which country has more, old and healthy people, but it doesn't give us the reasons that much. So these are the things that it reveals and conceals. From real students' essays. There was a title, Are Disputes over Knowledge Claims Within a Discipline Always Resolvable? The student found these real-life examples. Dispute over different models of the Earth for the argument pro the title in physics, and compared this, which was suggested by Cassini and Newton, and has explored how the dispute was eventually resolved by scientists. Okay, so it's pro the title. Now, for the other way around, they also compared the Copenhagen interpretation with many worlds interpretation of Feynman's double slit experiment, and has explored how this dispute was never settled to argue against the title. So both of them are in natural sciences, one area of knowledge, one pro the title, one against the title. The real life examples were really good, argumentation and writings were really good, so the student received 10 out of 10. Another student chosen the title, Robust Knowledge Requires Both Consensus and Disagreement. This student has chosen different historical schools of global warming as a real-life example. Although these are good topics to explore, consensus and disagreement, they're not specific examples. That's the problem. For IB, as I explained, for objects of the exhibition, it should be exactly objects, not ideas, not methods, not something like that. The real-life examples for TOK essay is the same. It shouldn't be some concept. For example, you cannot say religion, the idea of religion. No, you need to choose a religion, and in that religion, choose a specific ruling or a specific ritual. It should be like that. So you cannot say, for example, historical schools and global warming, like global warming in general. No, you cannot talk about, you cannot go pro or against a claim by just talking about global warming. You need to find a scientist, a politician, an activist who presented something and it was good or it was not good enough. That's the simplest way that I can tell you. So there was a research, the research came out, but there was no consensus among scientific society about that specific research on global warming, or historical schools know that that's not a good thing anyways. So the thing is, they are not specific examples, and because of that the student received 5 out of 10, unfortunately, sadly. So don't do that. Let me go a little bit faster. Okay. When you collect everything, first of all, you choose the title and you put the title there. Then you have your knowledge questions, your areas of knowledge, and please do not start writing before you find your real life examples. You check your real life examples with your teacher. If they are busy, always with another person, I don't know, with an online tutor, with a friend, in a community, on Reddit, go and ask people. So check that your real life examples are good. Now it's time to start writing. Also, you have your structure. You want to write a long or short, complex or simple intro and body. For introduction, define the keywords. You can bring dictionary definition and then give your definition. Some people are against dictionary definitions. I don't know why, but you can definitely define based on your understanding. If not dictionary and your understanding, just only your understanding, you can do it. You can say, the way that I understand, or in my understanding, in my point of view or something, this word, the keyword, keywords actually, mean this. So define. Then a brief explanation, explain the title, break it down, open up the title through or attach the personal example that we talked about, like combination of knowledge, different types of knowledge, different areas of knowledge are good, and then say in basketball or Robocop Junior or the examples that I said. You may want, this is just an extra mile, you may want to have a very short introduction of the areas of knowledge. For how? You can say, just introduction is finished, you can say, I will discuss, I will explore, the better word, I will explore this title in 2 areas of knowledge, natural sciences and mathematics, through 2 or 4 real life examples. When you say this, it sets a baseline for the reader to know, okay, what I'm going to read. But it's not mandatory or very necessary. Then you go to start writing the arguments, the main part of TOK essay. Clear awareness and evaluation of different points of view. That is written in the TOK guide like 6 million times. So I'm quoting from the guide. Clear awareness and evaluation of different points of view. You need to prove to the examiner that you are clearly aware and you evaluated different points of view. Then you need to write claim or claims and counterclaim or counterclaims. Then you need to write that. So write your claim and then bring the example, real life example, and explore your claim, then for counterclaim. Develop arguments by exploring. Do not prove. That's something that may be confusing. What do you mean do not prove? Do not prove. Just as a TOK student, as an IB student, you're supposed to know that some scientists, some experts believe that, and the others believe the other way around. How you believe, keep it to yourself. That's all about the TOK essay. Don't think that you're writing a scientific paper. The TOK essay is not a scientific paper. Okay? I think I have a little bit of time to give you a couple of examples. So here, this is a student. The examples show good argumentation. The student has chosen the title. The production of knowledge is always a collaborative task and never solely a product of the individual. So this is the beginning of the argumentation paragraphs. I'm reading a little bit fast. In accordance with this statement, in the area of knowledge of the human sciences, the vast majority of discoveries and production of knowledge come from collaborative work amongst scientists, sometimes of different disciplines, in order to share their knowledge. A counterclaim to this in the natural sciences could be that there is an element of the production of knowledge that is down to the work of an individual. A counterclaim to the initial statement is that it can be suggested that knowledge does not have to be produced collaboratively but can be produced on an individual basis. This also can be seen in the area of knowledge of the arts. Creating fictional stories can be considered the production of knowledge by an individual. A further counterclaim would be that knowledge can often begin with an individual's idea, but then this knowledge is furthered through the help of others. This counterclaim can be seen through the importance of shared knowledge within the area of knowledge of the arts. This can be seen in the domain of music within the area of knowledge of the arts, through the example of songwriters. And then they brought, of course, the real life examples, this song, that scientific advancement and everything, and of course 10 out of 10. So you see, this is a great way, a great approach, also marking that this is a counterclaim, this is a counterclaim, this is a claim in two different areas of knowledge. So basically the student chose one area of knowledge, science, to prove the title, claim somehow, and the arts for counterclaim. Okay, and let's go for the conclusion. First of all, do not reach a conclusion. Okay, in conclusion for the TOK essay, you shouldn't reach a conclusion per se, which means the conclusion is just, yeah, this person says this and that person says this, and it seems that it can be both ways. That's the conclusion for the TOK essay. In the conclusion of any other types of essays, like scientific essays, argumentative essays, which TOK essay is argumentative with a twist, in the conclusion part, you finally should clear that which side you're at. Like, this is right, that's wrong. Not for the TOK essay. There is something called the courtroom analogy. Many people use it for many things. Let me tell you a courtroom analogy for the TOK essay. It makes a lot of sense. The TOK essay is a trial, and the statement is on trial. For the half of the essay, first, as the judge or the cleric or whoever opens up the trial, you explain, the accusations. Then, for the half of the essay, you act as the lawyer who is defending the statement. The second half, you act as the prosecutor who wants to convict the statement. In the end, at the conclusion part, you are a very chilled out judge who said, yeah, I heard you, and I heard you too, and now no one knows what to do. No verdict. This is the difference between the TOK essay and other types of essay. In the conclusion part, you don't have any verdict, pro or against the title, very strong one. You can imply, but don't be that much strict and bold. Also, don't forget to write the conclusion statements. Like, for example, in conclusion, the title depends on the area of knowledge of approach, blah, blah, blah. Start the paragraph with these things, like in conclusion, or we conclude that, and something like that. Then explain both sides of the title statement. Apply the explanations to the areas of knowledge. And remember that TOK essay is not a scientific paper. A couple of phrases I want to bring before we have a review at the end of the session. Okay. First of all, a good conclusion part. In conclusion, due to the objective nature of the natural sciences, it is generally preferred that we have as many incontrovertible facts from experimentation as possible. Nevertheless, there are occasions where it is not necessary to have agreed factual evidence for a theory because it is explanatorily powerful and coherent with other proven facts. So sometimes like this, sometimes like that. These are the good phrases. We need both. When you use we need both this and that, it shows your total awareness of different points of view. Given my definition of, which means that, okay, I am more prone to this point of view, but given my definition. Something is dependent on the circumstances. It is generally preferred. It's not me, but generally it's preferred like this. However, I know that there are people against it. And there are occasions where, so these are like, there is clear awareness and evaluation of different points of view. I cannot emphasize more, I cannot emphasize enough that this is the whole point of the TOK essay. A quick review First of all, TOK Essay is external assessment. Yeah, I see a lot of questions here. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry I cannot answer your questions. I mean, have a Q&A. I'm sure cool guys in NailIB will provide, I cannot promise, but provide another session, or maybe through like email or something. It's an external assessment, 67% marked out of 10. You write on only one of the 6 prescribed titles, 1,600 words maximum. You should show that you are fully aware of other points of view. Wikipedia, TOK websites, or IB websites are not reference. Prescribed titles for May students, September the previous year, and for November students, May of the same year. 6 prescribed titles on 2 areas of knowledge, most of the time. And choosing the title, I explained the 3-step method. You may want to use it or use another method. So what is a knowledge question? We talked about it. How to form knowledge questions for the essay, then we talked about it. For structuring the essay, structure your essay based on your skills and your approach. How good you are in writing and argumentation, or how good you are in finding amazing real-life examples. So have one real-life example for introduction, 2 or 4 for the arguments. In introduction, define the keyword, your understanding, dictionary, both of them. Briefly explain the title with your personal real-life example. Short introduction of the areas of knowledge. Just say that this area and that area. For arguments, again, show that clearly aware and you evaluated different points of view. There are claims, 1 claim, 2 claims, 1 counterclaim, 2 counterclaims. Develop arguments by exploring, do not prove. In conclusion part, do not reach a conclusion per se. I told you about the courtroom analogy, and write the conclusion statements, for example, in conclusion. And explain both sides of the statement, apply the explanations to the area of knowledge, and remember that the TOK essay is not a scientific paper. Last thing that I want to tell you, why I prefer NailIB over all the platforms. Number 1, the resources are like endless, and they are adding every week, month, if not every day. Then the big difference that I really love about NailIB is that some communities, platforms, websites, institutions are run by very experienced IB educators, but they are old. They cannot relate to you. On the other hand, there are many usually accounts and websites that they are run by very young, fresh IB graduates who are still like college students. So they relate to you, they are fun, they know everything, but they are not that much professional and they are not that much experienced, and most of all, they don't have access to inside IB. NailIB, they're a group of very young, all of them IB graduates, but like, I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, so still, they can relate to you, and they're super professionals, and they use people like me, older generations, with a lot of experience and knowledge. But again, the way that they communicate, they take the knowledge from me, they communicate to you is cool, fun, your style. That's the reason that I suggest you subscribe to different packages I don't know about for NailIB. I hope to see you somewhere, somehow, someday, and have a great day. good luck for your all the assessments. Take care.